All right, welcome to the second videos. All right, in the second videos, we are going to learn things that we have just went through in this week 10 workshop here. All right. So basically this in this video I'm going to demonstrate to you how to import the data from the CSV file. All right. So before we do the importing of the data, we need to create a new instance here. All right. So you can see that I already created one instance called the movie. All right. So if I want to create another new instance, I have to click onto this create instance button here. All right. So I'll just click onto the buttons and then I'll I have to enter the name for the instance. All right. So this will be I'll just put it simple here, money, and then I will just put in the password for this one. Okay. Okay. All right. So basically, we have created this instance. What happened is that the movies instance is still running, so I have to stop this instance. All right, and then I will have to run this instance here. All right, for this one. Okay, before we do anything, we need to create the database. All right, we need to create the database and then we need to run this instance. All right, so let me briefly explain to you w- some of the this label and what and I'll explain to you this what is this ID is about and what is this version and so on and so forth. All right. So basically, this ID is the unique identifier that is created for this instance. All right. And this unique identifier will be used as the folder. All right. So basically, everything's related to this money instant here will be stored under the folder using this unique identifier here. All right, using this set of numbers. I want not only numbers, but this set of string here. All right. And this version is important because without knowing the versions of the database that you are running, all right, and some of the code you might face issue, all right, because some of the query the code in the query might be too old to run in this version. All right. And if you have code that is new and you try to run it on the new older versions, all right, it might not work as well. So it is important to know the versions of the database that you are actually using. All right. And this path is basically telling you where the file is being saved. All right, where the file is being saved. All right, this is very important because you need to when we need to import this CSV file into our database. We need to save this CSV file into one of the folder inside this instance. All right, so we definitely need to go to this folder or this directory here later on. Okay. Okay, so before we actually create this database, we need to run this instance. All right, so I'm running this instance now. All right, you can see that my instance is running. All right, I like to create everything before I run the before I actually import the before I actually save the file into the import folder. All right, so let me create my database. All right, I'll create my database. All right, so this is my database. All right, and you can see that inside here I have my money database, my Neo4J default database, and the system file here. All right, so basically this is what I have created. All right, so before we actually create this Neo4j's database. All right, let us go to this import folder. All right, and we need to look for this import folder. All right, so I'll click here this little folder here to open up the project files or the instance file here. All right, so basically you can see that this number here and the ID here is basically identical. All right. So it's 029C3E. You can see that 029C3E here. All right. So this is identical ID number here. All right. Okay. So I'm already inside here. So I need to look for my import folder. All right. So double click on my import folder. All right. So we need to save our CSV file here. All right. So once I'm in here, I will always go to my download to where I have saved my CSV file. All right. So where's my CSV files? All right. It's here. All right. So basically it's inside this week 10 resource here. All right. So I'll just copy this CSV file and then I'll just copy this one and then I'll just go back. All right. And then I'll just save it here. Oh, what happens? Where's the other files? Okay. I'll just copy this one again and then okay. So basically, I have saved my files inside here. All right. Okay. So what I need next is the text files. All right. So this text file has all the coding that I need for this workshops here. All right. So let's start creating our database. Close this one and then yep. So okay. Hopefully you still remember how we actually go to the query. All right. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you again, just in case you have forgotten. All right. So in order to write the query, we need to go to connect and then query here. All right. And then it will bring us to this query page here. All right. So inside here, we can remove this one. We do not need this one. We do not need this one. All right. We'll just close whatever that we do not need. All right, and then we can do query. All right, one thing that you have to remember is that we are actually in this default Neo4J's database here. All right, so if you click here, we have actually created our money database. All right, you can use the default database or you can use the money database. It's basically up to you. All right, so I'm going to change to my money database and then I'll write my code and save all my data, all my to create my database inside this money database here. All right. Okay. So let's have a look at our text file here. Where's my text file? Okay. I think I accidentally closed my text file. Okay, I accidentally closed my text file. Oh, no, it's there. All right. Okay, so the first step here, you can see that the first step actually covered a lot of things here, all right? But we have to be very cautious here because if this load here and this load here refer to a different things, all right? If you have too many load in your query, sometimes it might give you some errors here. So I will always grab this, I will always copy this one this load here up to here and I will run this execute this query first and then after that I'll go to the next load here. All right. So but what we need to do now is that we need to set this constraint and the index. All right. Constraint and index, the constraint is just like the unique key that you have in the relation database here. All right. And how about this index? Index is actually some things that help to boost the performance when you try to do some search. All right. When we set the index here, we actually set the index to the ID, named amount, and the name for the countries here. All right. So basically all these properties will be remembered. All right. So when you try to do the search, it will go straight to this index and then you can easily find what you want because all this thing is in the index or in other words, all this thing is inside the memory. Okay. So let's try to create this index and the constraint. All right, so you can see that is as long as you don't see a red cross here, everything is fine. All right. Okay, so we create our first node here. All right, we try to load this transaction files, and then we try to run this one. Okay, we try to run this one. Okay, so basically this is simple and easy. All right. So this is we created our first node, all right, called the file node. All right. And then let's go to the next CSV file here. Okay, so this is my second CSV file. Okay, and then I'm going to run this one here, and then run this. Okay, and the third CSV here. Okay, this is my third CSV file. Okay. So far, you can see that we have successfully created some of the nodes. All right, and this is my next one. Okay, I'll go all the way to the board. I'll go all the way until I see uh the next CSV file. Okay, I'll just paste this one here, and then I'm going to run this. Okay, you can see that this is done. Okay, this one here. Okay. Okay, so you can see that we are still creating this node here. All right, so basically what happened is that we are using this load CSV to get the data that we in the CSV file, for example, in the transaction underscore map file here, and store them inside this row here. All right. I hope you still remember what is this row for. This row is actually a variable. All right. Variable is used to refer to as a unknown here. All right. And then we try to use this one. Okay. And you can see that sometimes we use match when we try to create the database or create the node here. All right. So basically, why are we using this match here is that we try to get this fx unknown here. All right, so basically this fx we try to get um all the files, all the fx from the file nodes here. All right, this fx is used to represent the file nodes here. All right, we try to create this file variables here. All right, and it is going to store all the data is that is the same as what we have inside the row here. All right, and then we store all the data that from the file here that is the same as this those that you can find inside the row here. All right, this fx we have to use it later on. All right, we have to use it later on inside all this merge here. All right, so basically this is what we are going, this is why we are actually need to hit this one. All right, and you find that we are creating this we are using this merge to create our nodes here. All right, so basically I have explained in the class, merge is basically match and create here. All right, you try to look for this whether is the node exists. All right, if the node does exist, then you skip, you do not create the same node again. All right, if the node doesn't exist, then you create the nodes. All right, so basically we try to use this merge to create the nodes. All right, you can see that we actually created um this xf entities here, and then we try to create our country nodes here, and after that, we try to create our relationships here. All right. So basically, this is to create the relationships. All right. We create a node, then after that, we create the relationships. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy everything from here, and then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to run it. Okay, what is this? Okay, you can see that once you have created the node, you can see that it will not create anymore for you. All right, zero change, no record here. All right, so basically all this node has already been created for us. All right, that's why it will not create anymore. All right, in this case, it is not going to show you error. It just tell you that nothing is being changed from there. Okay, so basically, I'm going to create more nodes here. All right, create more nodes. Okay, so basically I have created quite a fair bit of nodes, all right? And this is to change the data type in our file nodes, all right? So I'm trying to change the property data type, all right, in the file nodes. All right, so we have actually created all this thing. All right, this will be the last one. All right, this will be the last step, all right, for creating the database. Okay, so once we have created this database, and let me show you the schema. Okay, let me show you the schema. Okay, you can see that this is how the schema is going to look like here. All right, so this is also a very simple one, but we can make it very complex here. All right, we can make it very complex here. All right, so if you look at the codes here, all right, you can see that the first few code are actually very simple. All right, like this one, this is this is just to um show you the entities node, all right, return E, and then we try to limit to 5 node here. All right, you can see that we have 5 node here, 5 different nodes here. Okay, 5 different nodes. Okay, they can be banked in any of the countries. All right, so basically this is a very simple one. All right, and you can see that this is just to get the node and the files. Okay, this is also a very simple one. All right, we can actually do it this way. All right, and without any relationships. All right, just to get some node, yeah, for the fun of it. All right, so basically this can be the case. All right, you can see that when I click on the nodes here, the property here change. Okay, the property here change. All right, so basically this is what happens here. Okay, as 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 you go further, you find that it is getting more and more complex where we have conditions start to come in. All right, conditions start to come in, and so on and so forth. All right, and you can see that this one is basically we have conditions for the entity names. All right, but we don't have anything for the files, and there is no relationships, so the file will be randomly picked from any of the files. Okay, so let's say that we have this one. All right, I remember I did this one um in in the class before, but what happened is that I was a bit surprised to see that there is no relationship line here. All right. Um, okay. Anyway, I what we can do here is that we just have to add in the relationship, there's a variable here, all right, in order to see this relationship line here. All right, okay, so basically you can see that this one, there's no arrow pointing to any of the directions. All right, so this is for those that you do not know the directions. All right, you have all the informations, but you do not know where the arrows is supposed to point. You can actually do it this way. All right, and then leave it as it is. All right, and what is going to happen is that the query will automatically look for this relationship, and then find the variable for sorry, find the node for you as well. All right, but in this case here, what we are going to look for is that we're going to look for Australian bank here. All right, so we are going to look for Australian bank here. All right, so basically you can see that this is Australian bank. All right, entities here, countries here. All right, hopefully you are surprised that we have so many banks that got involved in in all this money laundering and so on and so forth. Okay. Okay. So basically, this is what happens here. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the harder one. All right. You can see that this is basically similar. It's not that difficult. All right. You can see that this one we just changed the name to from Australia to New Zealand. All right. And then it's nothing difficult here. All right. Okay, this one seems to be fun. All right, let's have a look at this one here. All right. So basically we have this and then we have the count here. All right. Let's have a look at what we are going to get. Okay. But before we actually click on the run buttons, all right. Hopefully you guys recognize this is basically how the whole thing is going to look like in the query. All right, this is how the query is going to look like. All right, so we are trying to put in a little bit of complexity into this query. All right, so you can see that the files origin entities, then the countries here. All right, so I'll just go back to the schema so that you can have some idea here. All right, so files, entities, and then the countries here. Okay, files, origin, we are going from origin to the entities and then to the countries here. Okay, so basically this is what we are looking for. All right, and we are looking for Australia Bank here. All right, you can see that this one we are not returning the nodes here. We are returning a functions here. All right. So this is the same. We call it the aggregate functions. And we are actually counting how many banks are there. All right. How many banks are there? All right. So basically, we are going to get something like a tables. All right. In this case here. Oh, sorry, not the table. We are going to get a numbers here, but it looked like a table here. All right. This is basically the header, and this is basically the numbers here. All right, 27 here. All right, we actually count the number here. All right. What we can do here is that we can actually make it a bit more um make it a bit make the titles a bit more readable or reasonable here. All right, we can actually put this as num of banks. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, you can see that this is basically making more sense here. All right, number of banks here. All right, 27. All right, so basically there are 27 banks here. Okay, all right. So basically, you can see that this will give us a number here. All right. So you can also remove this aggregate functions here. All right, and then you try, and this will give us a true tables with all the names of the banks here. All right, all the names of the bank here. All right. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. So basically, you can see that this is all the name of the countries here. Okay, so I think I made a mistake. Sorry, guys. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I should choose entities here. All right, so entities country codes. Follow original names. SCIG names. Okay, so let's have a look. You can see that this is all Commonwealth Bank. All right, so basically Commonwealth Bank actually there's a lot from Commonwealth Bank. We have Travelex here, and then we have National Bank here, credit unions, ANZ, Macquarie Bank, Osforex, and Macquarie Bank. All right. So basically, this is giving us a table here. All right. So yep. So basically, this we try to make it into tables. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move down to the bottom um and see others here. All right. Okay, so this is also one of the very interesting one here. All right, so let's have a look at this one. Okay, this one is interesting in the sense that you can see that we are using two match here. All right, so we have the first query and then we have the second query here. All right, so basically this is run. This is based on the two query. All right, and you can see that the first query what we have is that we try to get all the relationship between the entities and the files. All right, and then we try to get this XF here. All right, XF here. All right, and then we try to get the sum of the amount inside the files and create a total here. All right, we actually rounded the sum, and after that we actually create an order by the totals. All right, so basically we are going to receive quite a number of totals, and then these totals are actually in a descending order here. All right, so what we can do here is that I can't we let's try to do it this way. Let's try to do it this way. Let's try to remove this part here. All right, order by. Okay, let me see. Um, order by. Okay, I think return need to be at the bottom. Returned. Okay, return total here. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so basically this is what we have. All right, this is what we have. You can see that this is definitely a lot here. All right, the total that we have. Okay, based on what we have here. All right, we try to get the sum. You can see that this is the sum of the totals, and there are a lot of these totals here. All right, so basically we have a lot of these totals. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove this one and then put our original code back here. All right, so basically you can see that this is what we are getting here. All right, by from this total here. All right, so basically we are getting the total. All right, the next match is basically you can see that we are getting this XF here. All right, and then we are looking for the relationship for the countries. We are looking for the country relationship, and then we are using this country note here. All right, and then our condition is still the US bank. All right, and this case here we are trying to get the total for each bank here. All right, F XF names as bank, then we have the code as country, and then we have the total here. All right, so what this is going to give us is that we are going to get a table. All right, and the bank, and then the total here. The Commonwealth Bank, Macquarie Bank. Okay, and this is another Commonwealth Bank here. It's interesting. Okay, so basically you can see that we have all the totals here. All right, so basically this is they are getting the totals for us here. All right, so basically this is what happens here. All right, and you can see that this is only about 27 of them here. Okay. Okay, so basically this is we can also do this one for some other countries, for example, China here. All right, so let's have a look. Okay, so basically this is the same code here, but this one is going in a descending order and then China. All right, and let's have a look at the table. Okay, so basically you can see that there are more banks in China. You can see that. Yeah, so basically we have the totals, all right, the country code and then the bank's name here. All right, so basically this is for China here. All right. All right, so you can see that this is something that this is the table that we are creating. All right, and you can see that These are some of the more complex coding here. All right, more complex coding here. All right, so basically we are using two weave here. It's interesting, two weave here, but they are taking different variable here. All right, you can see that the first one is XF with amount here. The second one we try to take this XF, but the second one what we have done is that the amount we try to order by we are carrying the amount and the fx in the second wave here, but we try to do a sorting here as well. Okay, we try to do a sorting here, order by amount, descending order, and then we try to limit to 10. All right, so basically we are only getting 10 of the amount. All right, then after that we are using this optional match here. All right, to help us. All right, so basically this optional match is interesting because it it means that if you don't have any it whether you match it or not is not necessary. All right, so this optional match is very interesting. Okay, so basically you can see that this is what happens that we have. All right, the code is quite old here. All right, they are using the old code here. That's why you can see that we are not they have forgotten about this relationship here. Let's say I put CO for the relationships. All right, then after that, I need to put CO here. All right, for the relationships here. Okay, so you can see that this is basically what happens. This is the result that we are getting here. Okay, countries. Um, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we actually limit to 10 here. So this is the what is this? Let me have a look. Okay, this is the entities node here, and this is the countries. All right, you can see that this entity node has many countries here, and this one has quite a number of countries. And you can see that this Russia has a lot of these entities pointing at it. Okay, so basically you can see that this is basically what happens here. All right. Okay, we just need to include the node and the relationships here. All right, in order to see all this thing. All right, we are using this optional match here. Let's say that remove this optional here and see what is the result that we are getting. All right, okay, so you can see that um there's not much changes. All right, okay, there's not much changes here. All right, so basically what happened is that the result is still is able to be matched here. All right, so that's why there's not much changes here. Okay, okay, and yeah, okay, so basically you can see that this is find anything connected to CBA at most three connections away. All right, at most three collection away. All right, so basically you can see that this is basically what we have done. Entities here. All right, name Commonwealth Bank. All right, and then we have the three connections away here. All right, so we can actually use this path to help us here. All right, so basically this path is equals to the query. All right, and then we just return the path. All right, so let's have a look at this code here. Oh, you can see that. Wow, you can see that this is something that is crazy, crazy. All right, this is something that is very crazy. All right, three connections away. All right, so you can see that this is basically very, very much, yeah. Okay, okay, so basically this is very crazy here. All right, okay, all right. So let's okay. I think that's all for this one. All right. Um, what I want to do here is that I want to make it a bit more complex in the sense that you can see that we have everything inside these entities, all right? The originators, the beneficiary, the filers, and others, and all these things is inside this one. All right. Can we actually split this one into more nodes here? I think we can. All right, but we need to do a bit of modification to the code here, all right, so that we can split them, all right. So what I want to do is that I want to take up this challenge and try to split them into multiple, into different one, all right, into more here, all right. So what I can do here is that, let's see. Okay. I'm not going to use the top part here. So what I want to do here is that I want to use the same thing here, but I want to do a bit of modifications, all right, to make it into two schema here. All right, so this will be my one schema, and then I'll try to create another schema here. All right, fx. All right, so basically this will be my second schema here. All right, I'm going to create another and file one. All right, file one will be my new file node. All right, so let's have a look. Okay, you can see that this is my new file node. Okay, I've created my new file node. All right, so let's have a look. So I'll just put one for everything. All right. Okay, one for everything. All right, and then source. All right, and then this reporter here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this reporter and then put it here, and then change this to a capital R here, reporter nodes. All right, and then this will be my reporter nodes here. All right, then after that, this will be my reporters entities here. All right, okay. So I just want to make sure that everything is correct. Okay, 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 guys. All right, so basically what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to expand this node here. All right, so that we can see, we can have some fun here. All right, we can have some fun here. All right, okay, so you can see that this should be, I should be able to create this one. That should be fine. All right, you can see that that is fine. All right, this is done. All right, so let's have a look at this one. Okay, fx file one here. All right, so basically I just have to be very careful because if I country nodes, I have country one here. There's no country nodes here. All right, so this one we have file one node, country one nodes. All right, and then this one, match. Okay, so basically this is fine. Okay, let me just copy this one and then I just put it inside here. Then run this one here. Okay, and then I'll try to look for this one. Okay, my file nodes will be one, and then okay, you can see that I have one. I'm creating another new node called the other node. So I'm going to paste this one inside here and then change this to a capital O here. Others node. Yeah, on set. This is fine. Okay, mentions others. On set. You can see that this is the country nodes here, and the country is C. Where is this C coming from? Oh, maybe from here. All right. If that is from there, then that is fine. All right, let's copy this one. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to create something that's different. All right, I'm trying to make it a bit more complex so that you can see a full pictures from this one. Okay, I'll just put this one and this FX. Okay, just to make it a bit simple here, I'll say that this will be XF here. All right, just to make it a bit simple here. Okay, FX. This is country one. Okay. All right, so this is done. All right. Okay, so I'll just paste this one here, and then I'll just paste this inside here, and then I'll run this one. Okay, I'm going to the next one. All right, while this is loading, I'll just go to the next one just to save time. Okay, this one, and then this is XF here. All right, so I'll just make it simple. I'll just create this one, and then this country is one. Okay, match this one, merge this one, merge this one, and this is okay. Okay, so basically this is fine. All right, so I'll just copy this one, and then I'll copy this one, and then I'll just paste it in here, and then I'm going to create this one here. Okay, all right, this will be the same one here, and then I'll just copy everything. I'll paste it here, just to wait. Okay, then after that, this will be my last one. All right. Okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to do this one because this one is going to make everything a bit more complex. Yeah. All right. So I'll just leave this at it is. All right. So I'm not going to get this one. Um, yeah, I'm not going to take this one here and try to do it. All right. So what I'm going to do now is that let's see how the whole thing is going to look like. All right. Oh yeah, I haven't changed this yet. So, okay, let's have a look. Okay, so everything is done now. All right, let's have a look at the schema. Oh, okay. So basically, guys, you can see that this is okay. I still face a problem with this country here. All right, you can see that I have country one here. All right, I have files. I have FX here. Others. All right, these entities. All right. All right. I might miss a few records here. You can see that this entities is still pointing to this one, and it is not supposed to. And I have file ones here. All right, file ones. You can see that this file one is linked to this entities, and this one is linked to here. All right. So basically, I'm actually create a bit of trouble for myself here. All right. So I'm not able to split the nodes into to what I expected. All right. But anyway, I try my best here maybe I should create this one in a new database, all right? And then I have to make sure that I check everything more thorough, all right? But anyway, just to show you that if you want to split them into different node, you can, but you just have to be very, very careful about this one, all right? When you try to split them. All right, guys, I think I'll stop here. All right. And the third part, I'll try to create this one by this week. All right. I'll see you guys.